Hey there, everyone. Today I wanted to look at this topic of divine feminine energy and divine masculine energy. And there was someone that I know that was talking about the fact he's a male and that he had focused a lot of his life on the divine masculine and doing, planning, and managing, and that perhaps now it was time to pay a little bit more attention to the feminine side, which was like to listen and to be more intuitive and things like that. And I think in my case, it's like the opposite. I was like perhaps have a too high of a feminine energy. And in recent times, I've feel I've had the opportunity to practice my putting into play my masculine energy, which is like being more assertive in what I want and not acquiescing to what other people want, and to be more firm in and more determined in what in 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 asserting myself and what is good for myself, and looking for the best thing for all parties involved. And so today I wanted to ask about this divine energy, this divine feminine energy, and this divine masculine energy. I wanted to ask, what are these energies, the divine feminine and divine masculine? And then I also want to ask, is it important that we balance the two energies, that we find this balance within ourselves of these two energies? And if so, what's the best way to go about it? Okay. And so let's see what comes through. Greetings, dear one. As always, we are very pleased that you have made time for us, and we are happy to answer any questions that you have. The divine energy, or divine masculine and feminine energies that you talk about, are two aspects of the same energy. It's all energy. What is the difference between them? The divine feminine energy is an energy which is essentially focused on the inside, on listening to our internal compass, our internal intuition. It's paying attention to our feelings. It's paying attention to that inner voice that tells us whether we should go left or right, or whether we should look at this from this perspective or from a different perspective. It's all about listening to that internal compass that we all have inside. And it's also about the empathy that we have. It's also about understanding that we are all one. And so considering, taking into consideration how other people feel, looking at situations from their perspective, being understanding, and lovingly interpreting a particular situation from their perspective. And this energy is a very important energy, but it's an energy that over time has been considered something which is not as valuable as, as the masculine energy. It was in previous times very highly considered. But now, because it's not understood where this intuition comes from, where this inner compass, or what this inner compass is, then it's not considered something that should be taken seriously. We give much more importance to the masculine energy, the divine masculine energy, which is the side of logic. It's the side which is focused on analyzing problems, looking at them from the mind, taking action as would be needed in the outside world to perform different tasks, to manage them, to reach a particular goal. And this energy is an important energy because we need to do things in this reality in order to achieve goals, to improve certain things, to create things. There is a need for the divine masculine. But when we focus too much on this particular energy, as has been the case in your recent past, and we consider that the divine feminine energy has no value because it does not have a scientific basis or something which we can tangibly understand in this reality, then we have a problem, because the divine masculine energy, while necessary to perform certain tasks and to achieve goals and to take those actions necessary to move things forward, it is an energy which, when left alone, tends to forget other people's perspectives. It forgets that we are, in effect, all one. It forgets to take into account the consequences of these actions on other people, on our environment, on those things around us that are also important. And so it is necessary to balance these two energies. It's necessary to balance the energies because while an action and planning and organization is necessary to achieve certain tasks and certain goals and milestones, it is equally important to pay attention to the internal compass that tells us during this whole time what is the best action, what is the best direction to take, and how is it best to organize all of these actions in order to ensure that what we create is beneficial for everyone involved. Because if we are all one, then we need to take into account that benefiting others benefits us, and hurting others hurts ourselves. So we need to take into account the consequences of these actions, these milestones, and what we do. And that is best achieved with that divine feminine energy, which does take into account that inner voice, that inner compass that tells us what is the best direction to take, what are the best actions to take in order to ensure that what we create really is something that is of benefit to everyone, and that it is beneficial and causes no harm to anyone or anything around us in our environment. So it is important to listen to that internal guidance, that inner voice. But it is also important to take action and to ensure that when we do take this action, that whatever we do is equally beneficial to those around us as it is to ourselves. That is to say that we don't give excessive importance to everyone outside of us in detriment to ourselves. That is, that we are equally loving to everyone around us and to ourselves. That's balance. And that is why it's so important to achieve this balance internally, to make sure that we are loving to self and everyone around us. There was a saying in the Bible, love thy neighbor as you love thyself. And This is the essence. And that's why that is reflected with the divine feminine. And it's the divine masculine that helps us create in this reality that which ensures that we are loving to ourselves as well as our neighbor or those around us. And with that, we are complete. Well, there you go. Yeah, I was like remembering that when I went to Greece a couple of years ago, and the guide was telling us that in ancient Greece there was a lot of consideration given to this divine feminine energy that is listening to this intuition, to guidance that doesn't have a logical basis. It comes from either people that were channelers or people that were guides, and that this was considered very important. And while the problem was that some people that acted as these guides didn't always offer the best advice, so it's obviously not always the best, which is why there has to be this balance. You can't be completely divine feminine. We worship somebody that seems to have an inner guidance or inner compass and rely on them to tell us what to do. But we've gone to the other extreme where we don't give much consideration and value to this inner voice, to that inner compass, to those inner considerations, and to be an empath with others and with our environment, and that we only go down the route of action. We do this, we get this, without these considerations. And of course, that's led to the world where we are today, where we have a lot of negative consequences as a result of focusing only on those masculine energies and not giving consideration to the others. So I do see how that's panned out, in the world in terms of how we treat each other, how we treat the environment, how we treat ourselves. So yeah, I would love to hear how you feel about that. And if you want to leave anything in the comments, please do. Would love to hear it. And if you have any other questions that you feel that you would like to ask, would love to hear them too. So thank you. Thank you for listening.